Hello everyone, good evening. Dana here with Love Soul of Flowers. And we often get asked about how to make heartboards. And so I always do a layered version of a heartboard. And so I wanted to show you, and when I mean layered, it means kind of like this 3D puffy effect. I don't really like do the flat ones very often. I like to really fill the spots to make it that 3D rounded puppy heart kind of look. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And I'm already started it, as you can see, because these can take a long time. And I just, want to be able to get through all the details with you without taking up forever. So if you do pop on, just say hi, because I'm not sure my comments are working right now. I do see people are on, but I don't see any comments. So if I don't see comments, I'm going to swipe it off and swipe it back on. So just say hi if you are on. Let me just show you what I've got going on so far here. And I got hair. I glued my hair into it. Hold on. I'm going to show you what I've got so far, how I got where I am, and then how to finish it up. Okay, so this is what I've got so far. So as you can see, it's puffy, layered, 3D. All right, I'm not seeing comments, so let me just see something. Let me swipe it and then swipe it back, and sometimes that helps. It could just be a delay. So hopefully I see comments if you guys are talking, because right now I don't see anything. Okay. All right, let's hope they show up. Sorry for my cough. So here I am. I already have, I do see some people still jumping on. And I see the name. I still don't see comments yet, but let's see what we got going on. Okay, so I have my board, and this board is just like a thin, cheapy kind of plyboard thing, and then I painted and distressed the front of it myself, okay? Okay, I see comments. Hi, Carrie. All right, I have comments going. So I painted the front, so these are really cheap. It's a nice way to do a board, also because it's easy to hang, and it's really, really cheap. It's not thick. I'm sorry, guys. So I just distressed it myself with paint on the front, and then I made my own heart template. So I usually just make mine. I usually just cut a heart, like fold your paper in half, cut a heart kind of thing. Hey, Jill. Hey, everyone. Okay, so I cut my own template, and then I put it down and I used chalk, okay? So I used chalk to trace my template in order to make a stencil for myself so that I can make it really, really perfect edges, because, I don't know, I like my hearts to be like really tight and perfect around the edges so that it's very clear, the shape of it. So I used chalk and a stencil, and I got it on my board, okay? So here's where I'm at. So let me just explain a little bit about how I got good edges and what we're going to do to finish it. So as you can see, the outside, I tilt my flowers a little bit out, okay, so that on the edges, they're facing a little bit out, and that gives it that rounded edge. And also when you're hanging it, when you come from the side view, you're not seeing sides of flowers, and you're not seeing big spaces. Hi, Jill. Yeah, Jill, I did this before I got on live, so I'm not going fast. This is just what's happening. So as you can see, again, I tilt out my flowers to the outside. I make sure that I touch that line. I make sure that they're pushed really close together so there's no gaps. And that way, from any angle, any view, you are having like a front of a flower or a good view of the flower, not like a side or a gap. And then the gaps that we make sometimes when we're pressing them together, or if it's very flat, then I can add some of these like topper flowers, and you can lay those on top and to cover those, and also to make it nice and puffy. So here we go. Let's just finish the rest of our heart, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So I just kind of build in sections, and I move forward, and it's basically putting together a puzzle, and you're going to fit in your flowers according to what space you have. And that's basically all you gotta do. So let me grab some of these. I've got a mixture of skinned and raw. I do like for heartboards to not just have just raw, because I like the texture and the colors. that the skin gives. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna make sure, I hold like 2 flowers up at a time just to see kind of where I'm going next. But you're gonna wanna like press them together and see if they fit. And then you're gonna have to have a bunch of minis just to fit in little spots. Hey Deanna. Okay, so I've got minis too to fill in little spots. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure they're nice and tight together. We're gonna make sure we don't cross over our line, but that we literally put the side of our flower directly on that line so that we have that really, really sharp edge to it. So let me see where I want to put some things here. So this dahlia fits kind of right here. And when I do these side pieces especially, I like to put the glue actually on the board, not on the flower. First of all, as you can see my fingers with all the Band-Aids, I burn myself like crazy, and it's kind of easier to burn yourself when you put it on the flower because you're like twisting it and everything. So I'm just gonna put my glue directly on my board. And then let me show you again from the side view. I'm going to take my dahlia and I'm gonna kind of tilt it outwards, and I'm gonna make sure the edges of the petal are exactly on the line. Hey Ingrid. Okay, so do you see how it's exactly on the line? Because no one wants like all, you know, weirdly shaped heart. You want it exactly on that line so that you have a nice outline. And again, you're just gonna build it like a puzzle. You do have to hold it here until it's dry, because if you start to move it, against another flower and it's not dry, it'll just keep peeling off. Now, if you do place a flower down that you don't like, you could always use a hairdryer to heat it back up. And that's just a little tip if you want to lift it back up. So now again, we're going to be building. So most of my flowers are 2-inch or mini, and I do have a few 3 inches. And that's just to give it some volume, because again, I like the layered look. So I like some of these to be coming up pretty high off the board. Okay, so we're going to try to do as little gaps as possible. But again, we have some of these kind of flatter flowers that can lay as a layer on top. So if you do have a little gap, don't worry, you're going to use some flowers to fill them in. But I try to fit as perfect as I can. So I'm just going to put some glue down on there, and this one kind of fits. And again, it's basically doing a puzzle. But the key is making sure that your flowers don't cross your chalk line, and that chalk will wipe off like really easy. Hey Ashley. So your chalk line will wipe off really easy. So it's good to have that as a template so that you can have a perfect heart. Because sometimes some of these don't always look like hearts if you try to do them on your own, because I've tried doing that and that's just not working. So, all right. Okay, so as you can see, I'm still pressing it directly on my line and directly as tight against the, hey mom, my mom's watching, tightly against it so that there's no gaps. Again, I gotta hold on to this just to make sure it dries before I move on. And then I'm just gonna build like a puzzle. I don't have any rhyme or reason. Sometimes you wanna make these a little bit flatter. I don't have rhyme or reason. We're skinned or raw right now. Just trying to fill up my gaps. Again, I have minis here in case I need to fill in some of these spots here too. And I've got some flowers that are good for layering that I'm gonna put on. I do have this flower that I love, and I'm hoping that I can somehow figure a good spot for it. It's pretty big, so. Oh, no problem, Rochelle. Yeah, this is fun. And again, like this board is actually a really, really, really cheap, like it comes in like a really, really big one, like from the Home Depot, and you can just cut them into smallers. It's super light, so you can do like, hang it with those like Velcro sticky things. And that way you're not using any like hooks or anything like that. Let me see what other flowers I got. Okay, so then again, you're just trying to figure out what fits into what shape. So this one's gonna fit pretty good over here. I can't kind of get my gun in there, so now I'm gonna put it on my flower. Probably gonna burn myself, but let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm gonna take this. I do a lot of glue, guys. Look how much glue. It's a lot of glue. And then I'm gonna tuck it up in there. And again, I like them all different heights because that's, so look, I'm going for that layered look. So you can do them flat. And if you're gonna do it flat, then just use all similar heights of flowers. And you can do it the same exact way, except you're not gonna be doing the up and down, up and down, up and down like this, like I'm doing. So trying to see what can fit in where. Again, if you're just joining, I tilt my flowers a little bit out and I make sure that they go right against the line so that I have a super defined line so that it definitely looks like a heart. It's not misshapen at all. Do you see how my petals hit exactly where the line is? So I want to make sure that I keep doing that. And again, so see how I have like this, let me show you this weird gap, but I'm gonna fill it in. So do you see how I have like this weird space in here? So that's why we're not worried about it right now, because we're gonna be able to put something like this, like layered on top. Okay, so again, we're just puzzle piecing right now, filling up our gaps as much as we can. And making sure, again, the most important part, in my opinion, is making sure you stick with that outline where there's no gaps and you kind of turn your flower out. Okay, and I'll show you the space I'm talking about. That happens sometimes, and then you use a flower to layer it. Let me show you. Actually, this is a pretty flower. I could probably use this one, but we'll see. Okay, let me show you up close. Okay, so do you see this weird gap in there? There's that hole and the gap. So we're gonna fill that with a flower right on top of it. So a peony fits perfectly in there. So I'm gonna just glue the peony at the bottom and I'm just gonna slide it in that weird gap. And basically glue it to the flowers next to it. Okay. All right, and I'm probably gonna need some minis to do these edges if I can't find a middle-sized kind of flower. This one might fit. I do want to use this. I just want to use this. So I want to make sure I have that somehow that can fit, but I'm not sure. Maybe it'll fit over here if I put this one in. Okay. I'm just trying to see what makes a good edge. This bird rose tucks in pretty well. And again, I'm just tilting it a little bit outwards and I'm making sure that my petals don't go over my chalk line because I want that distinct look of a heart that's perfectly shaped. And I do love the layered look just because when you're looking at it from all angles, oh, I just want to get this flower in, but it's pretty big. Anyway, when you're looking at it from all angles, it looks pretty from all angles because you're going to have it on your wall. Okay, so if you have it on your wall, when you look on the side, it's going to be pretty from all sides. I have a few more spots here on my chalk line, but I'm trying to fit this beautiful flower in here. Maybe I can kind of put it to the side. I'll get back to that. Let me just finish here. I'm going to probably use some minis just to fill in my last little spot. I can, but then I'm going to lose that little edge. Sometimes I cut my minis down if I need like an ultra mini. Sometimes I have to do that as well. But for now, let me just get my pieces in. And then I can just layer on this side too. Okay. And you can do any shape, you know, you don't have to make a heart board. I saw Ashley Joyner had made a shamrock. So you can do all different shapes. I suggest always using a template because if you want to, hey Shannon, I suggest always using a template so that your lines are perfect. Because I'm a perfect line kind of person. All right, let me, I'm gonna do my layering now, okay? So as you can see, this side is a little wonky still because I haven't, see how there's like gaps and stuff? I'm gonna layer on top of it, and then it's gonna match the other side. Let me see what we got. That's kind of pretty. I want to try to fit this one in here. So let's just see. I'm going to put this one in, and then let's see if it's not going to cover up everything if I put that in. But let me put this in my gap. Okay. All right. So I put that in my gap. Again, from all angles. It's very 3D. I like it all different lengths, but it's pretty when you see it from there. But I do want to add this skin flower, so let me see if I can. What do you think if I just put it on top over here? Is that too silly? Here guys, look, tell me should I put it there and then maybe put something down here that's skinned? Alright, I'm gonna just try to stick this sucker on because I really like it. I like the brown from the skin, especially on my board, because it's blue, so I like that brown and that blue together. So let me just add this. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna go for it because I really wanted to use this flower, and so I'm gonna. This glue gun is not going fast enough for me here. Okay. All right, let's stick it in there, huh? I'm literally just gluing it right on top. Again, I am wanting this layered look. I feel like something needs to be out in the middle a little bit, so maybe I'll put my Soraya there. Let me just show you. So I wanted that there, and now this is just a little caved in a little bit, so I'm gonna put one more little layer there. But do you see how our edges are super duper tucked in and the same? Let me use my Soraya in the center. Again, if you were wanting just a flat heartboard, then you're just going to use flowers that are similar heights, and you're not going to obviously layer. You're just going to try to work that puzzle piece. Well, my glue got undid. That would be why my glue's not coming out. Hold on. Yes. I mean, sometimes if you want to use some flowers that aren't your favorite, hold on, I unplugged my glue gun, that's why it's not hot anymore. But sometimes I'll use like flowers that aren't necessarily the ones that I'm wanting to like see the first. So you can put those on the bottom if you don't want to waste like really nice ones and then literally cover them up. But, let's see. I just want to make sure that we are rounded and equals on both sides, because I like it to be perfect, like perfectly symmetrical is kind of what I go for. And again, that's why using a template is a smart way to go, because I could never do this like just guessing. I'm just rounding out the edge because this dahlia was pretty pointed, and I just wanted to make sure that our edges looked the same. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's just fixing the edge a little bit up just to be perfectly perfect. If we could be as perfect as we could be. Heartboards are, you know, very common. They sell very well at craft shows. But I think if you're going to bring a heartboard to a craft show, you really just got to make sure that it really, really looks like a heart. And so, again, your outside lines are so important. Your outside lines are important, so like make sure you're sticking to them. Again, I'm going back just right now and make sure that both my sides are perfectly even. I take sometimes I take my minis and I make them a little bit minier. But yeah, again, I do the layered look because I like them to look good from any angle. Because when you put it on the wall, whenever you pass it, you want it to look pretty. Okay, just making my edge perfect, and then I'm gonna add that Soraya in the middle, and then we're done actually. And again, I'm just kind of making these minis minier if I have to. Because you want them to fit in the little bitty spots. I don't think I need that one. All right. Okay, so I think I'm gonna put my Soraya up on top as a layer. Let me cut down the bottom of this. And then that's it, guys. It's not hard. Again, I don't necessarily start at a specific point, but I try to usually start down at where my heart dips down, just to make sure that I've got a good point on it. Which actually, let's see if I can make that's a good point. That's that. We are done. Hi. I know, I was thinking I probably should have done this for Valentine's Day, but I think, you know, not everybody does these layered ones, but they're just in my style here. Okay. All right, I'm going to take my Soraya. So some of these flowers that are like kind of flatter, they're perfect for these topper type of craft things because they lay right down where you need them to. So I'm gonna put the Soraya down right on top of my other flowers. I try to let the ones underneath at least peek through, or if I'm not gonna like let them peek through, then maybe use some flowers that I don't necessarily love that can just fill my space. And again, if you want a flat heartboard, you can certainly do that. Again, you're just gonna use similar type flowers in their fatness so that they're not all weirdly leveled. But I wanted to show you how to do kind of a 3D puffy heart kind. And I'm just gonna see one last time if I need anything anywhere else. I think I'm good. I'm gonna go around the edges and make sure that my chalk lines are not there. And then again, we're just, oh, I'm sticky. Just making sure that you are symmetrical. And that's really all. So if no one has any questions, everyone's seen heartboards, so you know what they are. But this one, again, I'm just making sure that I tilted my edges out just to make sure that they are a straight line. Let me show you again from the side angles. And I'll take a picture of it too. So see from the side how they're all tilted kind of out so that no matter where you're looking, you see like a good part of a flower. So, all right, that's it, guys. I'll take pictures of this and post them so you can see what it looks like from far away, because I know it's kind of hard to see it from up close, but I know, I love this. I love this flower. I think I gotta maybe tilt it a little bit just so that you don't see the pointed edges, but I needed to get it in there somehow because I loved it. So, all right, guys, that's it for our tutorial. Again, the chalk line, staying to your lines, and then just using puzzle pieces and layering, and it's so easy. So that's it. All right, we will probably do another tutorial later on in this week. Yeah, so I hope you had fun doing this heartboard with me, and maybe trying a little different, because I know a lot of people do the flat ones, but maybe you guys would want to give it a try to do this kind of 3D look. So, all right, guys, have a good night.